Hey gang, welcome to Homemade Heroes. I am Jay, your GM, player, and guide, and this is our episode 4. I'm going to start with a quick recap of the previous episode, and then we're going to roll an NPC character that our heroes had picked up in episode 3. Seeing a giant bat come out of the rafters of a dilapidated building, Nanna and Finistarial slowly back away. Unfortunately, Finistarial kicks up a bunch of dust and cobblestones that had fallen from the wall. However, the bat seems disinterested in what is going on. Getting to a safer area, Nanna applies a salve and heals herself after she had been crushed by a falling wall. They continue on into the ruins and eventually come across an area that's being cleared, the road having been cleared of rubble all the way up to the door into the first or one of the first buildings that they've come across that actually seems almost complete. Deciding to go into the building, they see footsteps, some that seem humanoid, others that seem not. They decide to descend the stairwell, and upon hearing a scream, run around a corner to find Eustace and his 2 cronies being attacked by spiders. After a moment of indecision, Nanna leaps to the rescue, helping to kill the spiders, but unfortunately it's too late for Eustace and his other friend. Tulip, however, survives. Unfortunately, she blames Finistarial for his lack of action and the death of her 2 friends. She believes he could have used his magic abilities, which they had seen in the town square earlier in the day, to help destroy the spiders quicker. So let's move into rolling some stats for Tulip. We've already established that Tulip is a short female, but let's roll on an ancestry table to see exactly what she is. Because of her size and appearance, using the Lego minifigure that we have, I'm going to say that she is either a halfling or perhaps a dwarf. So I'm going to roll a d6. If it's 1 to 3, it's a halfling. If it's 4 to 6, she's a dwarf. Four. Okay, so she is a dwarf. Let's go ahead and roll her stats. In the previous game, I had established that she had an AC of 10 and had hit points of 2. That was just something that I came up with on the spot as the action was happening and I needed something quickly. But we are going to roll her actual stats now so that she can be useful as the group continues into the dungeon that they're currently in. To roll stats in Shadowdark, you would use 3d6. I only have 2 right here, so I'm going to roll 2 and then another one, and we're going to go in order from strength through to charisma, rolling for each in turn. So here goes the first roll. That is 6 plus 5 is 11. Okay, so 11 strength. Dexterity, 7 plus 3 is 10. All right, no major failures so far. 6 plus 5 is 11. Well, 0 modifiers across the board so far. 2. Okay, for intelligence, she's not going to be a wizard. 3. That is brutal. All right, wisdom. 3 plus 2 is 5. Wow, I really put the markers on this with that phrase about 0 modifiers. Come on, she needs a good one for charisma. 9 and 4. Okay, 13. So Tulip is of middling strength, middling dexterity, middling constitution, low intelligence, low wisdom, and is fairly charismatic. She gets a +1 modifier to charisma with the 13 score. All right, well, it is what it is. She's an NPC, so we'll roll with it and see how it goes. As Nanna, Finistarial, and Tulip head down the corridor, away from the bodies of Tulip's friends and the destroyed bodies of the spiders that they had killed in order to save Tulip. All of a sudden, Finistarial stops. Wait a second. And he turns to face Tulip. You accused me of acting too late, or not acting at all, to save your friends. However, I would tell you that Nanna gave me the choice whether to save you or back away and save ourselves. And I decided to save you. Admittedly, I wasn't very much used in the fight, but I am new to my mage-like powers. And this spell that you see at the end of my staff, this light that I'm providing for the group, is the only thing that I'm able to do right now. Besides, you and the others pushed that wall over on Nanna, didn't you? No, that wasn't us. What wall? I don't know what you're talking about. It was definitely you. I heard Eustace's voice as you pushed it over and then ran away. And you have the temerity to accuse me of not saving you when you actively tried to hurt or kill either me or Nanna? Nanna, what do you think about this? Well, Finistarial, you've got a good point there. I don't know if I'd been thinking clearly and remembered that they were the ones that pushed that wall over, if I would have bothered saving them. But, well, you said we should do it, and the decision is yours, and yours to sit with. It's good to have some responsibility. Now, if the two of you can't make up, you should at least agree that the most important thing is for us to stay alive and see what we can find down here. Save your bickering until we get back to Hast. Agreed? Finistarial turns and looks down his nose at Tulip. I agree. Tulip looks up at this haughty elven youth. I'll do it. To get out of here alive. Okay, settled. Let's get the move on. I want to make a note here. Nanna's torch is coming to the end of its life. So at some point it is going to go out and they're going to either have to light another one or they're going to have to rely on Finistarial's light spell. Having resolved this conflict for the time being, the group sets off further into the dungeon, moving down the corridor, scanning and looking for any signs of what might have come down here before them. The owner of that monstrous set of footprints at the top of the stairwell, along with keeping an eye open for anything interesting. I'm going to roll on the Oracle to see if they find any more signs of footprints down here. So the question to the Oracle is, do they notice any kind of non-humanoid footprints as they move down the corridor? I'm going to give this even odds. I don't really know whether this is likely to be a yes or a no, so that is cocked, so we'll roll it again. That is a 6, so the answer is a no. As they move deeper into the corridors, they notice that the air is dry and not cold nor warm. It seems to be just a steady, almost body temperature. The walls around them are made of some sort of brick, but with barely a seam around each of the bricks. This is well beyond the ability of the stonemasons that currently reside in Sunder, and Finistarial runs his hands along the wall, marveling at how smooth it is and the tiniest of spaces between each of the stones. Let's check with the Oracle again and see if they come across any rooms that branch off the corridor they're currently on. The previous two corridors had been without any doorways, but that seems a little strange, so I'm going to roll with 2 dice here, as I think it's likely that they're going to come across some rooms. We got a natural 1 on one of those d20s, and we got a 12. So that's a yes answer. And let's roll a d4 and see how many doors they come across. 2 doors. Okay. So I think that there is probably a door on the left and a door on the right. So let's roll on a d6 to see which door they choose to go through. 1 to 3 is on the left and 4 to 6 is on the right. Okay, 4. They are going to move to the right-hand door. Nanna, reaching the door, looks to the torch in her hand as it starts to sputter. Well, it'll be. It's about to go out. Finistarial, come a little closer there with that light of yours. How much time do we have left on that? Finistarial looks at it. Well, I don't exactly know. It's been going for a while now and should go on for a little while longer. Tulip pipes up. You don't even know how long the spell lasts for. How long have you been able to cast that spell? Turning to look down at her, Finistarial says, well, never you mind. It's new, that's all you need to know. Nanna, I'm not sure how long we've got, but I'll keep an eye on it. I can cast the spell again, no doubt. Okay, Finistarial, that's your job. You keep an eye on it. We'll take a look in this room, shall we? And she reaches forward and tests the door handle. Well, let's roll on the oracle to see whether the door is locked or unlocked. Natural 20. Okay. So just to remind you, the natural 20 is the ultimate success, is a success and then something else to sort of take that success further. Nanna opens it a crack and then opens it further. Finistarial, bring the torch in here. The 3 of them move into the room, and what they find is, let's roll on a random table to see what they actually find here. So I'm going to roll on room type, which is a D10 table. We'll get our D10 and we'll find out what kind of room or what the room contains. That is a 6. NPC. Let's go ahead and roll on our SoloDark prompts table and see if we can establish the nature of this NPC and the room that they are in. D100, 66, okay. $66 is betray. And 82. Betray nourishment. So I have a good sense of the nature of the NPC here, but I also want to find out more about the room. So let's roll again and see if the prompts can give us some interesting information about the room itself. 83 is ascend. That's pretty interesting. And 46. Ascend wealth. All right. As the group moves into the room, shadows flee from in front of them, and they notice that the room is relatively empty, aside from a couple of things. Along the back of the room run a number of pipes of different gauges that run from a hole on the right side of the room to a hole on the left side of the room. The room is about 50 feet wide and about 40 feet deep. In the right-hand corner, there is a figure slumped below a large crack in the wall, and they immediately notice that the humanoid has a dagger in their right hand, and there is a large stain spread out underneath them. Nanna says, all right, I'm going to go and take a look. Finistarial, make sure the light is on that figure the whole time. Tulip, you be ready to move. You can use that sword in your hand, right? Yes, Nanna, I can use it. Alright, well, be sure you do if you need to. I'm going in. And Nanna carefully moves forward, hammer in hand, the other hand up in front of her, ready to fend off something if this figure suddenly starts to move. She gets closer and, reaching out a foot, nudges the figure. The leg moves, but no response. Now that she's close enough, Nanna can tell that the stain on the cobblestones of the floor is blood or some sort of dried internal liquids. It's okay, you two. She looks real dead. Now Nanna can see that the figure is a half-orc that is dressed in adventuring leathers, a small rucksack to her side, and the dagger in her hand. Let's see if Nanna can estimate how long the body has been there for. So I'm going to roll an intelligence check. This is not something that Nanna is good at, but we'll see how it goes. 13. Okay, she has a general sense of how long it's been there for. I'd say this body's been here for, well, months at least. There's a bit of decay there, and you can see the blood and internal liquids have all dried up. Let's look around a little more. Tulip, why don't you take a look in the backpack? Tulip walks over and starts to go through the backpack. Finistarial, coming a little closer and holding the light over the top of the figure, looks around. He looks at the crack in the wall, above and behind the dead half-orc on the floor, and notices that there seems to be some blood smeared around the edges of the crack. Nanna, do you think that this person was trying to escape through that crack? It looks like it goes back a little way. Should we take a look? Well, I can take a look if you like. Let's move the body out of the way, and I'll climb up in there and see what I can see. Like, good spotting, Finistarial. And Nanna starts to climb up into the crack, which starts narrow at the floor and then gradually widens up to about 3 feet wide at the ceiling of the room. Nanna sees that the crack only goes back into the rock behind it, maybe 6 feet. At this point, she notices something down on the floor, just right at the back of this little incision into the wall. Let's roll on our treasure table and see what she finds. We are rolling a D100 on the treasure table from Shadowdark. And this is for treasure for levels 0 to 3. 22. That is 10 gold pieces in a moldy wooden box. But because we had rolled on the prompts and had got the word wealth, I don't think 10 gold is exactly wealth. 46. Okay, cool. So the other thing that Nanna finds is a scarab pin or brooch that is jade and gold. Very fine work, and probably worth about 20 gold pieces. According to the table, definitely worth 20 gold pieces. She collects the box that the gold and scarab beetle pin are in and brings it out. Well, look what I found, folks. A little bit of a reward for, well, I don't know what for, but we've got 10 gold and this beautiful scarab pin. I'm guessing that the half-orc got trapped in here and was fighting off something, but tried to escape up into that hole, and when they couldn't, hid their treasure. Probably what they found down here in the first place. Okay, I am going to make a note to have that put in Nanna's inventory. Our heroes come together again in the room and then head across the corridor to the other room. Nanna once again checks the door. Is the door unlocked? The answer is an 18, which is a yes. Nanna, testing the door again, opens it in front of her. Light! Finistarial, light! Bring it over here. Put it over my head. Again, the shadows flee from the light, and what they see as the light enters the room is something else we're going to roll on. So we'll go back to our room type table and roll on that to find out what it is. Before we do that though, let's roll a danger roll and see what comes up. 3. Okay, so no random encounter on this occasion. Let's go ahead and roll on the room type to see what is in the room. So 1d10. That is a 2. So this room is empty. Disappointing. As the light enters the room, they see that it's a room of a similar size, perhaps slightly smaller than the room they've just come from, but it's completely empty. Nothing of interest here. I think that by now, Finistarial at least would have been wondering what the purpose of this building was. So the question is, does Finistarial have an understanding of the building's purpose? I'm going to give it even odds. That one's cocked. Let's do it here. That is a 2. He has no idea. As he ponders what this building could have been used for, all of a sudden his torch goes out. Blackness surrounds them. Nanna calls out, Finistarial, get that light back on, right away. Tulip says, get that light on, get that light on. Finistarial fumbles in the dark, holding onto his staff and concentrating. Let's roll a spellcasting check. 11 is the DC for this particular check. And that is a 19. After only a few seconds, the light comes on and that radiance spreads around the group. You had me going there, son. Yes, let's not do that again. Tulip in particular seems a little shaken up by this experience. I agree. I will try to stay on top of it so we don't have any more periods of darkness. Perhaps somebody should have a torch in their other hand so that we can light that should my spell not be successful. You think that's a good idea? That's a good idea. Tulip, and because their light source has gone out, let's roll on the danger die again to see if anything occurred while the light was out. That's a 1. Just for those few seconds that the light was out, something had approached through the darkness. Let's roll on a random table and find out what they see. 24. 1d4 giant dung beetles roll huge balls of dried excrement. So we are, as the light goes out, yes, needless to say, this is not what I expected. As the light comes back on, a large ball, probably 5 feet wide, 5 feet tall, slowly rolls down the corridor towards Nanna and the rest of the group. Look out! Something's coming! Oh dear, what is that? I don't know, but back up against the right side of the wall there. Get out of the way. Weapons out! And Nanna hefts her hammer as she watches this ball slowly come closer. Mostly on the left side of the corridor, and it rolls down slowly As it gets closer to her, she starts to see the thing that is pushing it, and it is a huge beetle pushing this dung ball ahead of it. Nanna turns and looks over her shoulder at the others, an incredulous look on her face. It's a dung beetle of some sort pushing a gigantic ball of crap. Let's roll on the prompts table to see if we can get any information about these dung beetles and what they're doing down here. 37. Endure. And that is 3 zeros. Power. So endure, power. This one's got me a little stumped. The question that occurs to me, and I think the question that would occur to Finistarial, given how intelligent he is what's creating these giant balls of dung? So maybe that's what endure power is connected to. And if that's the case, ahead of them lies some kind of huge beast, or at least something that is creating enough dung for these huge beetles to create these giant balls. Let's actually roll a d4 to see how many of these beetles there are moving down the corridor. 2. Okay. So I think it makes sense that that each one of them is rolling their own ball of dung. I started thinking about what kind of monster or creature these giant dung beetles would be moving dung for. And while I was initially going to take a look at the monsters in the Shadowdark book, I thought, let's approach this a different way. How about we create a monster? How about we generate a monster right here at the table? And then it can be something that seems appropriate, and it'll also be really fun to actually create this monster. So as you can see, this is the monster generator, and this gives us the ability to build this monster out with some dice rolls, and then adding some weirdness to it over here on the next page. So I'm not going to worry too much about its kind of combat abilities and AC and hit points right now. What I want to generate is a sense of the qualities or characteristics of this monster. Well, let's go ahead and roll right here. So we're going to roll for the quality first of all. Natural 20. Look at that. Beautiful. So is reptilian. Interesting. Okay. And okay, now let's do the damage type, was it? Let me see. Strength, sorry. Strength is a 9, and so that is highly intelligent. Also very interesting. I like where this is going so far. And the weakness is a 2. That is greed. Reptilian, highly intelligent, and greedy. Let's go ahead and roll some weirdness for it. Make it weird. We're going to do 2 mutations. I don't want to go overboard here. So this is a d12. I'll need to grab this here and roll a 12 off the book. Okay, so that's a 12. So what do we got there? For mutation, it has wings. Anybody vibing with me here? And an 11. An electrified weapon. Okay. Well. All right, this is amazing. Definitely unexpected. I was thinking that we were going to get some sort of oozy blob with tentacles and, 2 severed heads or something like that. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. And so we've got reptilian, highly intelligent, greedy, has wings, and has an electrified weapon. So let's ask the Oracle if the level that the monster on is nearby. And I think this is probably pretty likely, because I don't think the dung beetles are rolling their balls of poo all that far. Sorry, it's not the dung beetle's poo. I'm assuming it's this monster's poo, but who knows, honestly. So I'm going to roll 2d20s and we'll take the higher score because I think it's pretty likely that they're not moving that dung too far, and so the monster is on a nearby level. Okay, a 19. So that is a yes, and because that's a yes, I am going to choose a d4 to roll which level the monster is on. If I had gotten a no, then I would have chosen maybe a d12 or a d10 to roll instead. And that is a 1. So that means that the level the monster on is one level below where the characters are now, which I think narratively makes sense. Before our party of would-be heroes can investigate further though, let's see how the monsters react to the sight of these 3 humanoids standing in the corridor to the side of them. I'm going to roll 2d6, and then we're going to add the charisma modifier of... Well, we're going to add the charisma modifier of the figure that is closest to them, which is Nanna. So a 3, a 1, that's 4, minus 1 for Nanna's charisma modifier. That gives us a total of 3. And on our reaction chart, that is... They are hostile, as Nanna has gestured to the others to stay back against the wall away from these creatures. The dung beetle at the front suddenly stops rolling its ball forward and brings its legs down so that all 6 of its legs are now on the floor. It looks over towards Nanna. Nanna tightens up her grip on her hammer, bringing her other hand down to the base of the hammer. The beetle shifts its position, moving away from its ball and turning to face Nanna. Suddenly it scuttles forward. That, folks, is where we're going to finish things for this episode. Tune into our next episode to find out what happens to Nanna, Finistarial, and Tulip as this dung beetle seemingly prepares to attack. Thanks for tuning into Homemade Heroes, and we'll see you real soon.